Welcome back. This is Beyond the Spectrum, episode 11. And this is Dreem, and I am sharing with you the journey of my family with autism. So, I have mentioned this before. I like puzzles, all kinds of puzzles. I like solving mysteries, and I kind of have a mind that keeps track of clues and tucks them away and brings them out just when my brain starts piecing them all together. It's just like a little computer, and it rarely stops working in the background, which is a little bit annoying and a lot of bit exhausting, but there you have it. But I've mentioned also that I can relate to some of the ways that Mikey's mind works, and that's because it feels very familiar to me. So when I realized that our son was just another puzzle, my brain rose to the challenge. And of course, being his mommy made it personal and instinctual, and it was very critical to me that I rise to that challenge. He didn't like looking in people's eyes, and this is a common characteristic for people on the spectrum. He would look into mine more than most, because I was with him literally every waking moment of his life. So as far as trust was concerned, I had mostly earned it. But even with the eye contact with me, he would reach his limit of comfort. I remember the day when something finally clicked for both of us. Mikey was in a world where situations were scary and unpredictable, and language was confusing. So even if he wanted to join in, he was pretty terrified to do so. There were so many expectations that he felt unprepared to handle, and he didn't feel comfortable being able to express himself enough to manage any and every situation that might come up. This made it especially difficult for him to interact with children his own age because, as we know, children are often sporadic, unpredictable, emotional, and that made them, from Mikey's perspective, way too scary. It was just easier to stick close to me, who was his translator that anticipated his every need, right? And then he could just be silent and safely observe things from a distance, or just block everything out and retreat into his mind. And that mind, his mind was such a fascinating place to me. And I was starting to really understand the allure of this safe space that he was building there. But I knew if I loved him, I couldn't let him stay there. I knew it was critical for me to draw him out, and he would only do that if he began to fully trust me. So it all starts with a ball. We were at Hope for some training, and we were having playtime, and we were in a small room that has something like a two-way mirror so they could observe us. And that might seem a little disconcerting to you, but it wasn't. It just was the way it was. The Hope program was a gift to us, and it was just a treasure to our family. And if it helped them to observe us while we put into practice all that we were being taught, then so be it. Use our family to help others. That's just the way that we felt. The way that I felt anyway. Micah was unaware of it. So I don't know what made me do it that day. It was just one of those God-given, inspired moments. Mikey was fascinated with this ball, and he wanted to play, so he rolled it to me. And I rolled it back and forth gently with him for a little while, just letting him set the pace. So one time he rolled the ball to me, and when it hit me, I made a funny noise when the ball came to me. And he giggled. And we did it again, and he giggled harder. And it became one of those belly laughs where the walls were just kind of crumbling down, and I sensed it. And the next time the ball came, I made the noise, but I quickly lifted the ball up in front of my face because his eyes were tracking on that ball. And now my face was right behind the ball. So before he looked away from the ball, I peeked my head out and made another silly face and a silly noise, and it got him giggling harder. And now he was associating my face and my voice with my face with that funny situation. So we kept doing it over and over again, with me pulling the ball up and getting him to follow and then getting him to transfer to my eyes. And each time I tried to get him to hold that gaze a little bit longer and try to engage with him, as if to say, the ball's funny, but I can be funnier. We can have fun together. And it was like something shifted. He could look at my face just a little bit more easily, hold my gaze just a little bit longer without that discomfort. And I realized I'm in. I had squeezed through that space into his world, crawled down the tunnel, and there he was, welcoming me tentatively in. But now that I was there, would I be allowed to stay inside the world? Would he trust me enough to follow me out? I knew then I didn't know all the answers, and I really didn't care, because I was there with him and we had another victory. But after this whole interaction, I remember several of the therapists there kind of being a little bit in awe. They said that they felt like they were witnessing something really special and really unique. To me, it was almost like I wonder if they were seeing something come to life that maybe they had studied in textbooks, but now they were actually watching it work. I don't know. They never really explained it, but I got that same sense of awe as well, because I knew something special was happening. They were watching this dance between mother and child where trust was being established and tested. And like I said, they were right. I was feeling that exact same thing. Something magical was happening here. Something that was beyond what could be taught and was just lived. And they might have had, 2 front row seats, but Mikey and I were the actors on the stage. And this ball had transformed into a key that would unlock the door into his world. And laughter became the native language that we were speaking. And once we connected, he felt safe with me being a citizen in his world. And from there, I could try to begin telling him of the other worlds just outside his borders. And holding his hand, I could try to help lead him out and keep reassuring him that I'd be right there. He didn't need to be alone. And that it was a lot less scary with family. And little by little, we spent less time in his world and more time venturing out into the unknown spaces that became a little less scary each time. And I'll tell you right now, he's 22, but he still does visit that world of his, the one where he kind of created this safe space. I can see immediately when he retreats there, but it's okay, because we all have things that we use to kind of regulate our emotions and manage what we need. But now he has like this passport to visit any world that he chooses to encounter. And it all began with a ball. So be on the lookout for those keys into your child's world. And when you find them, take the time to learn how to use them wisely. See you tomorrow.